to, there you go again, President Johnson. Again, and I also don't know that in a meeting like this that we can come up with alternatives. That seems like it's too much to ask of anybody. So I was hoping that between these two meetings that perhaps the neighbors could come up with an alternative. And that's what I'm not clear is whether we're being presented with an alternative that's agreeable to everyone who's involved. Because then I would be able to kind of move ahead. But without that, or without a policy that defines the parking issue and defines what's reasonable feedback from neighbors who don't want a neighbor to have.
There were some alternatives that weren't.
And we do have a very reasonable alternative.
If you want to speak, you have to.
No, Stan, we don't have, are we ready?
Yeah, we don't have a motion, so we got.
Right, so that's what I'm just wondering procedurally how we're going to get to that, sharing that information. So I don't mean to assume because I wasn't in the committee and I wasn't here last week. So I want to get to all that impact. I'm not trying to be offensive. I'm trying to say I want to get that information so that we can fairly understand whether we have enough information to approve or deny something, but knowing that our pilot program doesn't have the definition for us to approve or deny. So that's the difficulty in my mind. I'm sorry, that was a lot longer than it needed to be.
Okay.
I agree with Trustee McKay on all her points that she made. The pilot program was to be evaluated after the first year. That's what it says in there. And we really haven't had that review. We talked about making some of these time periods consistent throughout our programs, but we really didn't. I was shocked to see in here that if we don't, if we don't have that review and establish some criteria, as Trustee McKay was saying, there is the opportunity to have over 32 more parklets. We don't even define in our pilot program that it has to be a food and beverage establishment. It can be any establishment. So as 20 seconds, I could apply for a parklet, and everybody on board would have to weigh without any criteria. So as we're seeing the success of the program, which I fully support, I think the parklet program is like other communities. It has a public benefit. It does provide a public benefit of being outside during our summer months and a sense of community. And so I do believe in the program. I'm struggling with case by case. I'm not a case by case person. That's why I keep saying it. So I apologize. But I don't like to be in that position because I don't know how to weigh that. They're both positives. And so even for, to have that discussion before we start approving more, since we're past the annual mark, we had 2 operators, and we really haven't had that comprehensive review to set up the policy. So I'm struggling. And I do want to hear from the residents once the motion comes to
I'd make a motion to approve the special privilege application by Grafton Vessel to install a parklet and bike corral as presented in the May 9th, 2017 report to the board.
Second.
Discussion?
So President Johnson, would it be acceptable to ask Mr. DeVour to just give an update to the board about what's transpired in the last 2 weeks, and if any, since I wasn't here, I understand that there was difficulty coming to an agreement, and I would just like to know if there's been any progress towards that, and if it's here from Mr. DeVour first, since he's the applicant.
Could I interject here and say that part of the reason we deferred this was that Mr. DeVour said that because some of the business owners had said that they didn't receive notice, that he would just bring it back this time. So the discussion wasn't so much the board members, it was the public comments at the last meeting. And the business owner saying that he would give additional notice to what he had already given and then bring it back.
But since you requested this, would you like to make any comments?
I'm happy to. I don't have anything extra.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't an at-length discussion as whether or not this is a viable program or a pilot program, or should we reconsider the pilot program, which we've awarded several not only the bike corrals this year, but also the parklets to Camp Bar, right? And to Three
Chocolate
Lions
factory.
and Chocolate Factory.
Okay, yeah, so I'm sorry, I might have misunderstood the intention for deferring, but. So,
I can talk about it more if you want, but
there's nothing new to add.
Yes, sir.
Good evening, I want to thank the board and Matt for giving us this little extra time here. I did have,
Can you give your name and address just for the record?
I'm sorry,
Your name and address. for the
Richard
record.
Key, we own property at 44-1 through 11 and 44-19 through 23 on the Oak and all around that. We have several businesses there, including offices. And I took the opportunity to run everything past my accountants. To show profit loss and the negative impact these buses have just by itself. I've also asked my accountants to come up with a, try to put a monetary value on what parking actually is. And by our records, just since the bus stop, we've lost 10% gross income on 4419 through 23, and up to 18% in net income, which wasn't as bad as I anticipated. Largely due to increased vacancies, concessions we've never had to make in the past, such as free rent during remodeling. However, on our 4419 and 23 building, once that bus stop hit, almost every office space client vacated the building, citing no room for the clientele to come and go. We lost 50% income, that's a gross income. And we lost even more than that in net because of increased costs and expenses and not being able to get into rent. I did manage to drop that down to a 30% loss in income, but I had to drop our rent from $2 a square foot down to $1 a square foot to do that. So we've already had substantial losses there. My accountants, going on numbers I gave them, they're not probably the most official thing to do, estimate that each and every parking spot on this street generates between $40 and $60 every half hour to the local businesses. Businesses on this street are open anywhere from 10 to 14 hours a day. A couple of them only open 6 and 8. So you go on an average of 10-hour-a-day business days, considering full occupancy, you're looking at $1,000 a day lost income to these local businesses, just from every parking spot that is not there. That's including the one for the bus, that's including anything taken over here. That's including for the bike rides. So this is a substantial loss of income to the local businesses. Now, granted, people have the least resistance. The parking spots in front of our buildings are just as easily taken up by Nat's clients, as well as businesses down the road, because parking is so darn congested. And that there are people that walk 2 blocks to their hair. There aren't too many 70, 80-year-old women that are going to walk 2 blocks to get their hair done. So, he does have an advantage that maybe his clientele is more willing to walk that distance to get here over other businesses. And these other businesses have suffered. They have suffered financially and everything else. Most of my businesses there have been there since before the bus stop. The ones that haven't have just dealt with it because that's the way it is. But they had financial losses and burdens and hardships, and being good business people they are, they overcame. I still am a little lost to see why the offices got hit harder than the commercial businesses. But they did, with hard work and determination, build back up the losses that they had, at least to a point. Their economic growth was definitely stunted and may never be what it would be, but it didn't completely stop. They stagnated, they stunted their growth, but with the hard work they put in their own businesses, they were able to pick up at least some of that. And other than that, as far as implementing what the board wants with these parklets, now I've also got from my attorneys that under state statutes, no special use permit will be granted unless it is necessary for the public convenience. Petitioner must present evidence that the proposed use is essential to the community as a whole. Now, granted, the village wants to promote these things, open air drinking, whatever you want to do. I mean, come to Shorewood, party in the streets is probably better promotion than come to Shorewood and get the best haircut ever. But, you know, as far as implementing your program into a private use of public property, now this is a petition that Nat did to benefit his business to increase his income. It's not a petition from the village saying, we want to do this. In which case then, you could weigh hardship and burden. Is it for the best of the community because this is the village wanting to do this? This is Nat's petition to do this. So he's got to prove that is absolutely necessary and vital to the community as a whole. Now, his very base of his business would service less than 1% of the community. Also, under state statutes, no special use permit shall be granted if it can be shown to cause undue hardship or burden to neighboring properties. Now, we can show that it will, and it's not a matter of how much or weighing it out. It's any, because it says clearly, no burden or hardship.
I made this comment at the last meeting. I don't think it's unfair to say that the burden needs to be on that. This is a village program, and that welcomes applicants. So I think it is a village pilot program that we adopted, saying we wanted to do this. Unfortunately, we didn't set comprehensive criteria within that,
Well,
pilot
I would
program.
assume that the village has to coincide with these statutes set by Wisconsin.
Right, I wanted to defend the business owner because it really is a village program.
Oh, no, I don't have any faults with that. If I was in his position, I'd be doing the same thing. Free real estate, why not? Enhance my business, increase my income. As a businessman, I would jump all over that. But also, I'm personally opposed to the giving of public property to private use just as much as I am opposed to taking private property for public use. I mean, my personal feelings on that, if I was Nat, wouldn't slow me down a bit. I would still jump on the opportunity to increase my income, increase my business potential. But I don't feel either one of them are right. But, it's business. And I've got to look out for the businesses and my ability to re-rent these units if they go vacant, my tenants' ability to generate the money they deserve from their hard work and labor. And I'm not even bringing in the fact that our rent market over there, we're at $1.25, $1.75 a square foot for our units. A lot of that's by design, a lot of it's unintentional. Market values in rent in Shorewood are $2 and better a square foot. I mean, we are not necessarily charging market rent. I don't even know if we can get market rent because of the limited parking and the restrictions on the business that causes.
Is the boulangerie in your building?
Yes.
And they pay less than $2 a square foot?
Per month, is that according to the per month rate or
It's per month.
term? So it's $24 a square foot per year.
Makes more sense.
Yeah.
Well, no.
I was like,
Yeah, I was
that's
gonna
really
say
cheap
that.
rent.
Yeah.
Well, no,
I got
the deal was like
Yeah, I mean, where's the,
$1 a square foot, I usually
Come to my business.
But, no, I mean, these businesses, our business and our property ownership in Shorewood go back as far as my deeds in the early 1900s when we had big tracts of land in Shorewood. These original stores here were built in 1924. They were the first commercial properties ever built in Shorewood. So, I'm going to be here for my lifetime, and there's a very good chance my family's going to be here 100 years from now, still with these properties. So we will endure. But we got to look out for our ability to find clients that can survive in a climate of walking or having no parking. And what happens to the tenants we have now? I got to look out for their best interests and trying to keep them as profitable as we can because they've all worked hard. They're all seasoned professional business people. They rode out hard times. They all have visions and dreams. And they're all trying to make a dollar. And like I said, they're proven. They'd be an asset to any community. And their business would probably thrive a lot better if they weren't limited by parking. Now, the biggest problem with everything is this is free enterprise at its worst. You got beauticians in competitions with dog breweries in competition with bars in competitions with psychiatrists, all for the very limited access of public parking. Without the public's ability to get to the business the business cannot survive.
I think you've done a really good job advocating for your kids.
I'm Denise Sen. I'm the business owner of Zen Salon on 4407 North Oakland. And I just want to make it clear to Nat, as it was mentioned before, we are not against each other. We're all businesses. I think the alternative solution that we have and we would like as business owners is we would like a parking survey done. I have been told that Erica has provided other businesses in the past that wanted to expand, similar to Nate's business with parking spaces. And I would like to receive that as business owners to the landlord and to us businesses privately, and I would like a parking survey done. And I do support his, I do like the patio outside, and I think that personally for me as a business owner, I'm willing to sacrifice a few parking spots for the summer. That's great for me, I don't care. But when the bus stop was put in front of our space, that was 2 parking spots taken up. When the bike rack was put on the street, that was another parking space taken up. We can put a bike rack on the sidewalk, just like you guys are making the bumpers. We just spoke about that too. Again, mentioning the trustee, of course, Tam